Hey gamers, how's it going? I wanted to talk about the breaking news that came from Gen Con. I'm not there, even though I'm at my hotel. I'm going to be at a friend's wedding, so that's why I wanted to film this as quickly as possible. But the breaking news that came out, I call it breaking, is that Ghost Galaxy announced that they're going to be doing a Gamefound, not a Kickstarter. People were confused in that, but a Gamefound campaign for the sixth set of Keyforge called Winds of Exchange. I'm going to talk really quickly what that means and what's going on and the background behind it. So if you didn't know, Ghost Galaxy bought the rights in July of 2022, so just a month a bit ago, from Fantasy Flight Games. Ghost Galaxy is also run by the former creator and CEO of Fantasy Flight Games, so it's in good hands in my opinion, and you can take it with what you want about that. But now, why are they doing a Gamefound? So there's many possible reasons, but the CEO of Gamefound has already been talked to at Gen Con, and they're handing out pamphlets, and he said it. They're just being real, right? And what the being real means is that there was a pandemic that happened. The game had not. It's been 2 years basically where it was somewhat dead in the water, for lack of a better term. And in addition, the algorithm for the actual being able to make the unique decks when it was with FFG broke, right? So that all means that they're unsure of the status of the game. So this is a good way for them to see how many people are interested in the game and what's going on. Is it the way that I expected or others? No, but it is an interesting way, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Speaking about, is there interest in Keyforge? Well, the news is that there was 192 seats sold for a sealed event at Gen Con by local fans, being helped out with some prizes as well from Ghost Galaxies. So you best believe that there's some interest, right? In previous years, to not cut around the bush, there's been 300, 400 people, I believe, at Gen Con. So don't, if I got the numbers wrong, but yeah, in previous years, the numbers were huge. And that also means that, people, when they go to Gen Con, they want to play events. So not all of them are into it, but like our hardcore Keyforge fans might just be casually playing. But that's the beauty of Keyforge. I can talk about that in a later video. But getting back on topic, to keep this short, what do I want to see? Because what I want to see is two things. I want to see and I hope the community wants to see, and let me know in the comments, is that I want to see that the retail is still being supported. So I want to see a tier pledge. A tier pledge just means a type of pledge within the crowdsourcing campaign of Gamefound, where retailers can buy the product. And I hope that it's a bit cheaper for retailers, so that loyal fans of the brick and mortar stores can go to the retailers, do a group pledge of sort, and maybe they get prize kits and whatnot through that means. So we still have that option. So that's one thing that I would like to see, but it's hard to say. It's all hearsay, and I think it's going to come out pretty soon. That's why I'm doing a quick video. But also the stuff I want to see as I look at my notes, I want to see a custom tier on the fan level. So these are some of the crazier ones. I want to see a custom tier where you can spend a little bit more money and you can get named decks. So your name is either added to the algorithm, or much like FFG did with like stores back in the day and some community leaders, where you can spend maybe a little bit more and you can have a dozen decks with whatever name that is appropriate. So having my name, Dominic, or whatnot on there, been like, hey, that'd be fantastic. Because just a little hint, if I don't buy it, if you want to add Dominic to it, Ghost Galaxy, that'd be great. But that's one of the things that I would like to see, and I think a lot of fans would be willing to pay a little bit more money. Another one is another thing that would be cool, and Gamefound exclusives, right? And you want to be careful with this. So looking at other card games, and some have just been coming out recently, is altered card borders would be cool. So specific borders, or something that shows that this was the Gamefound edition of the print run, so that it's so you get something unique when you buy it from Gamefound. So you can be like, oh, look, this is the first core, because people like to spend, and they want to spend on stuff that is a little bit harder to achieve. So nothing too crazy, but having a different border so everything else remains the same, and that would be cool. Another one, but this one is a little bit more debatable, is alternate art cards. So we've seen these given out during tournaments. So having it within the decks will have a chance of having an alternate art card, just kind of like how we saw it with the store events when FFG was running it. That would be cool. So hopefully now, because the set is fully complete, hopefully they do have some art that they could potentially pull from that is for the same card. And if they did that and it was specific for a Gamefound or having just like maybe a few of those, people would want to buy a little bit more. I know that I would. Other things is just having a limited prints of potentially playmats. Even though I have a million playmats, if they have specific playmats celebrating, the Winds of Exchange coming back and being the sixth set and the revitalization, people will spend quite a bit of that. So those were all my quick notes. Let me know in the comments what you think you would like to see. Obviously, things like everyone wants to see an online client. That's not the place most likely for here. But the big thing, I think, and they're talking about, is saying if you follow the campaign right now, they're showing that you will get a free deck. It looks like a Dark Titans deck. That might be a placeholder, or that's probably what they got from FFG. So go ahead and follow, even if you don't think you're going to back. Following doesn't cost you anything. I totally recommend it, because then once it goes live, usually what happens is that you no longer get these free gifts as someone that has backed a lot of things from Gamefound and Kickstarter. So I go ahead and do that. Concerns and questions about this that I got. Well, the other things I have is a lot of people, including myself, have bought Keyforge decks from previous sets for extremely cheap. So they got to be cautious knowing that. So obviously people want to have a deal, including myself, even though I'm going to be reaching out to them. And hopefully they're able to sell it for a little bit cheaper than retail. Retail is most likely going to cost more money than what we're used to, because a lot of things has gone up. Inflation, like, look at the shipping cost, right? And shipping cost is going to be a concern. Hopefully they have a quick turnaround. The product is already ready. So price wise, I'm hoping that it doesn't cost anything more than $12 to $14 per unit. So per dex, US dollars, that is. So that's a good 20 to 40% increase based off of it, I believe, being previously $10. So I'm hoping it's more around that $12 mark. With retail being maybe 13, 14 bucks. And shipping, I hope shipping, there is great deals for people to be able to do group orders, because I know locally I am looking to just do a large group order, if that makes sense, and that to make sure that anything that you're getting gifted out is per display box. So display box being like 12 unique decks that you would get. So something like that, because I want to support the game, and I am most likely, along with my the core community, is probably going to go deep depending on how they do this campaign, right? Speaking about it right now, I hope that I know that they're looking for a few people that they're probably trying to hire right now. So they're trying to grow. So this is all going to help them get that influx of funds that they just spent on the game. And the Gamefound site itself is a little bit lackluster. I'm not going to cut around the bush around here. The art piece, even though Keyforge has great pieces of art, it's just like a white background and it says Windows of Exchange. And this is just a placeholder. It's coming in September, so they got a lot of time to work on it, but it's not pleasing to the eye. So I think hardcore fans of Keyforge, they're going to check it out anyhow. But the casual people that are looking on Gamefound, they're going to be like, what is this? And they're going to probably pass it up potentially, because a lot of the things for this, for those that are unaware for crowdsourcing, is you always want to have something, because usually you're just seeing this little art piece when you're scrolling through all the different games. So you want to make sure that it really catches a person's eye. So hopefully they turn around and change that sooner than later. The other items is hopefully they come up with updates. I'm sure they're going to be talking about during the actual Gen Con in upcoming months, right? September's coming around the corner. I would ideally like to see this get into players' hands no later than like October, November, so that people can be playing this by December. That might not be a reality. So this is an interesting thing when you do the Gamefound campaign because they have to make sure that the actual algorithm is built. So I don't know how far along they are with that. They've talked about it in the past, but ideally it would be nice if it was ready for December. I think that's most likely not reality. I think it's going to be Q1, Q2 at the earliest. So just putting that out there until we hear further. So that's all hearsay until we find out from the company. Other than that, there's other things that are interesting. So hopefully they have updates. The other aspect is I do want to still see a retail version. So I'm going to use another example of a game that just came out because people are like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I think it's an interesting thing, and it probably is a good thing because what it allows is that means that Ghost Galaxy will be able to get more money into their own pocket versus it going to retailers. And we don't want to cut retailers out, but for them being a smaller company starting off, what we want is that influx of money. And who has recently done this? Unfortunately, their competitors, and I'm looking at a certain Alex, I won't mention his last name, that should have come back to Keyforge, but he went to Soulforge. And for those in the community, they probably know who I'm talking about there. But hopefully they're able to get more of the old Fantasy Flight group together that made the game so beautiful. And the reason why I bring up Soulforge is Soulforge also did a crowdfunding. They did theirs on Kickstarter, which is interesting. Why is Ghost Galaxy on Gamefound versus Kickstarter? Most likely reason there's less fees on Gamefound. So Kickstarter charges about 10 to 13%, if I recall correctly, where Gamefound is less than that for when a campaign fully backs. And speaking about campaigns fully backing or not, if you're not familiar with how this works, if you're new to it, but you're a fan of Keyforge, is that your funds aren't collected into the campaign ends. And once the campaign ends, your credit card or PayPal, wherever, it gets charged for the amount for what you've paid for your pledge level. And then usually what companies will do, and hopefully Ghost Galaxy does this as well, is that they'll wait into closer to shipping to see what to charge you. So they'll have an estimate shipping cost, but the reality is the shipping is very expensive, and that's why some people are concerned with that as well, right? But yeah, hopefully we get to have both a retail version and a Gamefound version of this game. Now, the cautious thing about this is Ghost Galaxy has to realize that most backers, not Keyforge fans, but backers, want to have their product first. So that's a thing. And I got a little bit sidetracked there because it's first thing in the morning filming this. Getting back to Soulforge, the reason why I brought Soulforge up is that what they did was they wanted to see how many people were interested in the game. Soulforge actually came out before Keyforge. It was actually invented prior. And this is a refusion of Soulforge. I won't go too much into that game. Also made by Richard Garfield. And what they did was that they did a small Kickstarter campaign. I was a little bit disappointed in it, only because it was North America only that you were able to back that game, because they wanted to test the waters, but they wanted to keep it simple. So they did a campaign that was North America only. They had exclusives, just like I was saying. So they had alternate art stuff. They had different backslate borders, I believe, and other small little things that said that was Kickstarter exclusive. So they can use that and other card games, because there's been lots of card games. When I say them, I mean Ghost Galaxy can look, and I'm sure they have, to see what do card game players want for these type of things. And so what Soulforge did there is they used that as a platform. People got the first set, and it's already in people's hands, or it's starting to get into people's hands, and now the retail version is going to stores. So I think that was smart, except for the thing that I mentioned about it being North America only, because they didn't open it up. And so if they use that model, if that's their idea, I think that it's going to show them like how much it is success, right? As I started my words. Now, the other big thing here to mention is that I hope, and this is my own hope, and remember, I'm a super fan, so I am extremely biased for this. I hope that everyone tries to just get like one or two decks, get whatever you feel comfortable with, and pass on the word. I'm going to be passing on the word. I'm spending my time this morning talking about it because I think it is important. We're talking about it's going to come out in September. If you're not familiar with how Gamefound works or whatnot, ask in the comments below, ask within the Keyforge community. I'll be linking the Keyforge community if you haven't been to that. And that's what we're going to do. I also recommend that Ghost Galaxy, when I'm talking about this, if able, that they reach out to community leaders, and they can contact myself. I can help, but they don't need to, because there a lot of community leaders have already reached out. But we're all familiar with each other, and if they're able to, trying to get out some of the decks before the campaign comes out, or just as it comes out, so that some of the content creators could put out the videos talking about Winds of Exchange game. People are hyped. That's probably a little bit too much of a jump, but they do have the print capacity to potentially do that. So maybe not decks, maybe just some cards to reveal, anything to get that hype boosted, right? So we got a quick turnaround, and hopefully they do stuff like that. So just community engagement, and I hope that other stretch goals that they have, and stretch goals, it's usually fund or amount of people base, and hopefully they don't do it so much as they do some as funds, but hopefully they do it by like talking about sharing the words, because I think that would be very useful, and that they have a clean cut Gamefound page, and just check out some content creators. Hopefully they do that, so they can see what people want to see and what attracts them to back stuff, because they have an uphill battle. You're talking about a game that has had 5 sets that were retail, and now they're going to crowdsourcing. So it's an awkward moment for some, where others say, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm in between as well. I think it does make sense, but it was a retail game, and now it's going here. So it was a little bit of a sidestep. I had no idea about it, right? So hopefully they do that. And I know that there's been concerns about language sets. So hopefully they get enough people that say, hey, hey, what if they get like 1,000, 2,000 backers more that are from Italy and whatnot, or other areas where there's strong Keyforge communities that say, hey, we'll buy the English decks, but now that we've shown that there's enough of us, could you consider potentially having it in our national language, our official languages, or languages that we're looking at? Because for those that are unaware, right now they're looking at English and maybe some other ones, and hopefully during the campaign they can reach out to some partners, and those partners say, hey, wow, there is interest in Keyforge, right? So this is a cycle that is going to be very useful for everyone to partake in. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. Hopefully they take in community feedback, not just my own little video here, so they can see, yeah, people want to have X, Y, Z in the game. Let's give it to them. And hopefully my wallet doesn't hurt after this, because I said from the start, I'm going up and down with this game, and I'm willing to definitely support. And there's still a lot of strong community leaders and community fans, and just people that love the game. And I'll end on this note. Why is the game so great, in my opinion? Quick, accessible game that everyone can play. I play with my local community. I showed it to my wife, taught it, and she was like, wow, this is an excellent game. And she hadn't played too many games like it beforehand. And she went out and she went and played in our nationals, and she came top 8. And this is just a person that was like, hey, and she was so excited about it. But and there's other moments like that where it's inclusive. It allows everyone to be part of it. It doesn't matter what type of background you have, and it's very nice and refreshing to see, versus other card games where you'll see it's very much a certain group, a certain age, or whatever you want to look at. Where Keyforge, honestly, I've seen people of all shapes and sizes, age and whatnot, and that's been excellent. And it's been fun both on a casual and competitive level. So I'm hoping Winds of Exchange does bring some unique, and exchanges it from nowhere back up to where Keyforge is, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So it's exciting on my end, and hopefully your end as well. So let me know in the comments what you think. So Ghost Galaxy can also see. Let's really help this out, and I'll definitely be talking about this, and I'm sure the community will be talking about this. So I gotta go. I'm not going to Gen Con, like I said, but if you like any of this stuff, or you think you're going to support Keyforge going forward by making any unique products or any stuff like that, reach out to me. As you can see in my other videos, I love Keyforge. I love covering custom topics. I love talking about art. I love to do potential collabs. I've already also reached out to Ghost Galaxy, like I said, because I'm a super fan. I'm a busy parent as well these days, so that's why you'll see that sometimes it's hard to get all these videos up. But that's enough about me. Potentially, if you liked this video, like, subscribe, consider going forward, all those things. I don't mention that too often, but I'm mentioning it here because I'm looking at starting to rebuild as we got Keyforge rebuilding as well. So that's all for now. Get out there and get some games in, people. Cheers.